Hi, I'm Joy. I'm going to show you a lot of charts, a lot of posters explain why I'm so passionate about solar parking lots. I believe that they are the answer to our interim problems at the very least. Um, they might not be the most perfect answer, but we Americans love our lifestyle, and it looks like nobody's willing to change that because nobody's doing anything to switch off to renewable energies, like enforcing, or rather regulating our government, which is our government, tell them to subsidize solar, not oil or natural gas, which involves too much fracking. Why do I want to do this? Well, let's look at our planet. Um, our the Arctic. This is a chart showing the sea surface temperatures. The surface temperatures are very, very high, and the anomalies are up to 40 degrees. And the over here, where the Netherlands are, and Russia, Siberia, and also in Alaska. And according to James Balog, who did the film Chasing Ice, we have monumental and historical change that's basically going unwitnessed. And his 2007 cameras that they placed were within 3 months. There was epic change in his words. At 6 months, they were even wondering if they were in the same place. Dr. Hansen, in his many, many talks, um, speaking out against climate change and things we can do to solve our problem, has said that that uh, that we only have felt part of the response from what's been emitted thus far. And that's because that the climate responds slowly due to the mass inertia of the global oceans and the ice sheets. These charts are showing how the ice have been shrinking. Not only that, but did you know that this past July 2013, the North Pole actually became a lake? And due to all this warming in the oceans, and also the ice, the oceans and the permafrost, there's methane starting, and the ice loss, there's methane starting to be released from the seabeds. And there's an organization, methanetracker.org, that if you're a remote sensing student or GIS, you would appreciate this site because it makes it very easy to track certain satellite data and make your own charts. There's been a significant increase in methane, which the scientists that are tracking these things believe that it's attributing to the temperature anomalies. So where's the warming? Why is it only if the situation is so dire, why are we only seeing the the ice sheets start melting now, and why are they all of a sudden melting so fast? Well, that's due to the oceans. The oceans have thus far held all of the heat, all of the carbon. But now that they're to the point where they are not holding too much more carbon because they're starting to release it, and just like a hot Coca-Cola will release CO2, so will the oceans. I got that one from Dr. Hansen, one of Dr. Hansen's talks. And so if we look at the chart for the ocean warming, well, the oceans are holding 93.4% of the heat. And not only that, there's enough heat in the oceans right now so that the ice sheets will continue to melt for decades, and that's guaranteed. That's a quote from John Englander, the author of High Tide on Main Street. There, the oceans are holding so much heat right now that they're they're emitting carbon, and this just like we do. There, we've stored so much of the oceans that there's really kind of no more room. I guess that's not exactly true, but
You can look at it that way. That's why the ice sheets are melting as fast as they are. In fact, in accordance with this report by John Cox, Polar Ice Loss, picking up the pace, that I found on news.discovery.com, Greenland is losing 21.9 billion tons of ice a year. And that, I mean, each year. It loses that much more each year. And Antarctica is losing 14 million tons of ice each year, more each year. According to one scientist I was listening to, they say that the melt of the Greenland ice sheet practically doubles in 6 or 7 years. That was Dr. Hal Wanless, the geologist that is the chair of the geology department at the University of Miami. And now going on to, that's a chart showing the ocean heat. And what's funny is the next chart, you'll see all this blue part scribbled out, because the skeptics used to say, don't even pay attention to that. Well, the reason why the glaciers and the ice sheets are melting as fast as they are today, which is blatantly apparent if you watch the movie by James Balog called Chasing Ice, is that we don't have any, we can't store any more carbon in the oceans. So that was our safety net, I guess you could say. And we don't have a safety net anymore. We're on free fall right now, folks. Now, according to Dr. Howe, by 2100, the sea level rise will be 4 foot or more. It could well be 15 foot, is what he said in a recent PBS video that was shown called South Florida Seas Rising. The links for all of these are at the end of this presentation if you're interested, and I hope you do go back and watch these videos, and there's much more information in them than what I have time to tell you now. The IPCC says that there will be a 6.6 foot sea level rise by 2100, and we know that they're behind. They're too conservative, their models. Another professor, this is off of National Geographic TV, or video called Earth Underwater, von Romsdorf from Potsdam University, predicts 6 foot by 2100. And you know, we've got to start planning now, is my point. I mean, we can't just let this continue and we keep going around acting like there's nothing wrong. We keep driving our cars. It's very discouraging to get on the bus and go anywhere, because you see all these people driving their cars like there's nothing wrong, you know. But as a matter of fact, there's a lot wrong. And that sea level rise is going to, you know, just a mere 1.5 foot to 3 foot. As James Balog says, that will happen within his daughter's lifetimes. Okay, there was a video recently published on Miami PBS where it was very informative. I've got a few screenshots. I give them credit, though. You can see the and at the end of the presentation. This particular picture is that are very prevalent if you've ever lived. The seawalls were built back in the 20s, and as no longer doing the job. And since not only that, but this one GIS coordinator at Florida International University, Mr. Pete Harland, you'll see some of his pictures coming up shortly. He's showing, in fact, we'll just go there now. I can't. He's showing this one is 2 foot sea level rise between 2040 and 2060. And this is in South Beach. Now, why am I paying attention to South Beach, Florida, and I live in North Carolina? Well, because Carolinians need to realize we got serious problems. We have a lot of coastline ourselves, and our tourism trade is going to be seriously not just affected, but moved inland, severely inland. So we need to start planning for this. We can't just leave it to the
politicians, they wanted to make measuring sea level rise illegal. I mean, come on. We have brains here in the state, and we need to use them and take action. And this other slide is the sea level rise at 3 feet, and then also another one at 4 feet. This one map I found is by Emmanuel Soding, and it shows a 5.1 rise and a 5.6 meter sea level rise. And as you can see, up in North Carolina, we're going to lose a lot of land. And there's something else that you need to, when you're thinking sea level rise, there's something else that you need to be aware of. And that is that for every foot of vertical in sea level, the shoreline moves inland 300 feet. Okay? So that's a lot of land. In fact, I got that from John Englander's website, and he says you can basically summarize sea level rise in 4 points. The oceans are more than 5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than a century ago. 2, the warmer Earth system has more heat energy, dictating that the glaciers and ice sheets will keep melting until a new equilibrium point is reached. It's probably going to be for centuries they're going to keep melting. 3, as the ice sheets and glaciers get smaller and the warmer ocean physically expands, sea level will keep rising for centuries, eventually tens of feet, as has happened in the past. And 4, as sea level rises, the shoreline will move far inland, since the average global shoreline movement is estimated at more than 300 feet for each foot of vertical change in sea level. This effect has already started, evidenced by beach erosion, etc. So as you can see, we really need to start paying attention and start taking advantage of other ways to provide our energy. Now, South Florida actually had a four county conglomerate, whatever, and 4 counties came together to agree that on what they will plan for in sea level rise. Okay, and this is what they've decided on planning for with their infrastructure. Granted, infrastructure usually lasts about 30 years. That's rather long-term planning. At least a 2.5 foot rise. 40. It'll probably be more than that. Those are if chasing ice, and then you follow all the scientists in science that I do. See trends, and things are getting exponentially worse. That even so, at 4 foot of sea level rise, the electricity supplies are affected. So not only are hundreds of millions of people going to be displaced, then we're also going to have to worry about more. Okay? So we need to start thinking about that, is what I'm saying. Now here's a map of sea level rise if the entire ice sheets would melt. Well, the sign says it all. Life has no remote. Get up and change it yourself. So I got to thinking back in 2007. And I started going to college for GIS. Then Mother got ill and passed, and things changed. But regardless, I'm still at it. This is the solar parking lots. The advantages are too great. They can generate on-site solar electric power. They can reduce energy costs, provide premium shading, which I understand over in Disneyland in California they're actually charging for. They can control water runoff. You can charge your electric vehicle directly without needing it to be converted to AC power and not only that, but it's a highly visible evidence of a community or company's commitment to the environment. And just think how many jobs we'll be able to provide with this. You see that all those cars on that highway, and you wonder how many parking spaces are in the United States.
on December 4th, 2010, ABC News reported that there were 250 million cars and trucks on America's roads. The urban planner's rule of thumb is that there are 8 parking spaces for every car or truck in the United States. I'll let you do the math and figure out just how many parking spaces there are in the United States. But at any given time, there's at least 500 million parking spaces that are empty. And as you might be able to guess by now, parking is the single biggest land use in any city. Now, how much electricity could all of that land generate if covered with solar? All of that parking covers 1,713 square miles. Could be used to generate 1 billion kilowatt hours of solar power. With just 50% of that, it could handle 2 billion cubic meters of stormwater runoff, generate 822,264 tons of oxygen, and remove 1.2 million tons of carbon dioxide annually. You know, if you figure one space equals 1 kilowatt, covering one parking space with solar panels will produce about 2 kilowatts of generating capacity, unless you live in sunny California where you get 5 kilowatt hours of electricity per day for one parking space. I used 33 kilowatt hours of electricity last month. That means if I lived in sunny California, I'd only need 6.6 parking spaces covered to pay for my electricity. And seeing as how they've already planned 8 for me, all I have to do is cover them, right? Where are those solar subsidies when you want them, right? Now at 2 kilowatt hours per day, that 33 kilowatt hours I used would need 16.5 parking spaces. But then again, you know, with 500 million parking spaces empty at any given time, I don't know, it just seems like we have an awful lot of parking spaces that could be covered and used to provide electricity for our homes, or at least the stores, because you know those big chain store buildings aren't built too efficiently. My first GIS study on analyzing paved parking in the city of Greensboro, about 5 years ago now, yielded, let's see, city of Greensboro has 10.27 square miles of paved parking. I knew then that I was on the right track. You know, some people may call this a fantasy solution, a fairy tale solution. I know what I don't like parking lots. I had to turn them into something good. Solar parking lots are not only good, they're phenomenal. They work. They work for us too. I don't see any reason why we need to keep destroying our water or paying oil people or anything else. We've got the sun, and if we just work it right, we can have all the electricity we want. It'll provide so many jobs, especially when you consider that I do believe I already said this. I counted up so far 2,089 large chain store parking lots in North Carolina. Now, I'm going to do this, I was going to do this video for my Kickstarter, but I've used too many references in here. So I'll just put this up on my YouTube page. And I'm telling you that, you know, I'm going to do this. Put it on Kickstarter because I need money. I've been in school full-time since 2007, and things didn't work the way I had been told they were going to work with my family. So anyway, I'm trying to save my home. So that's TMI, I know, but that's why the Kickstarter. This is what I'm going to do regardless if it, you know, I need to get onto Esri. I only have 30 days with Business Analyst, and with that I can download all the parking lots for sure in North Carolina. That's what I'm going to use it for anyway. And then I'll start analyzing, and I have to refresh my memory from when I took PV design and advanced PV design from Solar Energy International back in 2007. And then I'll start analyzing and
putting up how much electricity we can get from these parking lots. I'm going to do it by county. I've already got the Walmart split up by county, and I'll just continue on. If there seems to be a longer delay, it's because I had to move for a bit. But don't despair. This is me. This is what I'm doing. I'd appreciate any assistance that you're able to give me. And in the meantime, start your own crowd. Get some of these statistics and get a hold of a local solar company in your county, and let's start putting some lids on these darn parking lots, huh? Thanks, y'all. Bye.